Hello, good evening. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How has your week been? My week has been wonderful, full of events, full of activities. And I have been so much looking forward to today. And I am glad the day is here, the time is here. I am here, but more than that, you are here. You are welcome to today's program. My name is Tunde Disu, and this is Become a Better Man platform. And for those that are joining us for the first time, this platform is geared towards giving us tools, making us equipped to become better at who we are and what we are, either as men or as women. Thank you, Olabode Laleye, for joining us. Thank you so much for this evening, because it's going to be another wonderful season, another wonderful session rather, as we look into another practical tool that we need to become better at who we are, and what we do. This is a journey that we've embarked on since February. It's a journey of discovery. Yinka Ajishebutu, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It is an honor to have you on this program. Thank you very much. And as we do every week on this platform, we look at a specific topic, a specific title on some of the things that we need to become better and arrive at a point and at a destination where we are better. But more than that, people that are looking at us, people that are seeing us, people can testify that surely this is the Lord's doing, and it is wonderfully marvelous in our eyes. So, sticking to our tradition, therefore, we are looking at a new topic tonight. And the topic we're looking at tonight is something, once again, something that we all do, something that we actually almost can't do without, and something that I believe we have not maximize its potentials, probably because we have not had enough tools and enough experience about it in order to take advantage of its full potential. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are looking at Become a Better Man. Learn the art of negotiation. Become a better man. Learn the art of negotiation. Learn how to negotiate. Learn how to bargain. Learn how to put your point across to another person or a group of persons in such a way that you are not beating them over the head, but at the same time you are firm, you are assertive, you are very clear in what you want, how you want it, where you want it. But more than that, you also have room within you to cater for the need and the desire of the other party. So tonight we're looking at negotiation. We are looking at negotiation. Adejoke Afuye, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Musa Bako, wow, thank you, sir. You are very welcome. So as I was saying, we're looking at negotiation tonight. The truth of the matter is this, ladies and gentlemen, we all negotiate. We are all at one point or another negotiating something or with someone or doing something along the line of negotiation. The truth is we cannot live our lives without taking on board this vital key of negotiation. In fact, I will go as far as to say, life will not give you what you want. Life will either give you what you demand or what you negotiate for. Leila Aibeg, oh wow, all the way from Netherlands. Thank you, Leila, for joining us. God bless you too. Thank you. Life will not give you what you want. It will only give you what you fight for and what you negotiate. You see, you will either have what you tolerate or what you negotiate. And tonight we're looking at negotiation. What is negotiation? what is required to negotiate properly? What are the types of negotiation? What are some of the pitfalls as far as negotiation is concerned? What are some of the things that you should at all costs avoid saying when you are negotiating? What are some of the body language expressions that will either give you away or give you an advantage in the course of negotiation? You see, every day of our lives, every day we are negotiating. Either you're negotiating with your spouse, with your children, your colleagues at work, your employer, your employee, a supplier of goods and services, you are negotiating with government, you are always negotiating something. You are always bargaining about something. You are always discussing terms and conditions about something. Whether it is written or not, you are always and always will continue to negotiate, to ask for, and to give. Negotiation is all about giving and receiving. Rita Ahayerejo, thank you so much for joining me, also all the way from Netherlands. Thank you so much for joining me. So, what is negotiation? When you hear the word negotiation, what exactly does it mean? What exactly is the meaning of negotiation? Negotiation, by definition, is the art, A-R-T, is a art or a process by which two or more parties, each with their own aims, needs, and viewpoints, desires, and wants, seek to discover or to establish a common ground or reach an agreement to settle a matter of mutual concern or to resolve a conflict. I'll say that again. Negotiation is the art or the process by which two or more parties, each person coming to the table with their own aims, their own desire, their own need, their goals, and their viewpoints, whereby the two of them will come together to seek, to discover, to establish a common ground or reach an agreement in the course of settling a matter of mutual concern or even resolving a conflict. Matthew Oyeneye and Temitope Dorcas, thank you for joining us. So, if you look at that definition of negotiation, it clearly has the four elements of the what, the who, the how, and the why. The what, the who, the how, and the why. And I will explain that. The what part of negotiation is, what is negotiation? And as we said, is an art or a process. So negotiation is an art, or is it is a process. Negotiation is really not an event. It is a process. You start dialoguing. You start drawing up the terms of the dialogue. You then exchange that forward and backward to say, are you happy with this? No, I'm not happy with this. You need to change that. You need to. And that is the process of negotiation. The who of negotiation is every negotiation involves two or more parties. You can't sometimes you negotiate with yourself. But in the true sense of it, when it comes to negotiation, there has to be two or more parties involved. The how of negotiation is that the two parties are seeking, they're looking for finding a common, a mutual ground where both parties can walk away with the feeling, with the contentment that I got the best deal. And at the same time, the other party didn't walk away feeling cheated, empty-handed, or have nothing to show for the season. The why of negotiation is the purpose of negotiation is to settle a difference of opinion or a difference of views, or to reach a conclusion, to reach an agreement in resolving a conflict. If you look around the world where there have been civil war or industrial disputes, after the strikes, after the civil war, after the killing, after the maiming, at the end of the day, they will come back to the negotiation table. And that is where most conflicts are resolved. So negotiation is something that we do every day, all the time. For instance, in your house, you have your children, you have your spouse, you want to eat rice, they want to eat beans, you want to go for a swim, they want to go for a jog, and you begin to negotiate. Okay, which of these are we going to do? When are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? What will be the outcome? Who will let go of their own desire so that this one can be fulfilled? All of that is negotiation. Kimti Mativenga, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you, sir. Also, you just got a new job, or you've applied for a job, you've been offered. Then you have to negotiate what are the conditions of this contract. How much are you going to pay me? Maybe you want to get a mobile phone. Maybe you want to get a broadband. Whatever it is in everyday life, you and I are negotiating. What are the different types of negotiation that we have? The reason we need to understand the types of negotiation is because different ones is applicable under different conditions. And unless you know which of the tools to use at a particular time, you will sell yourself short of the benefit that can accrue to you from that negotiation table. The first type of negotiation we're going to look at is the one called integrative bargaining. Integrative bargaining. Olu Wisdom, thank you, sir, for joining us. Integrating bargaining. What does that mean? It is an interest-based bargaining. It's an interest-based bargaining. It's a win-win situation. It's a situation where both parties feel, yeah, I got a good deal out of this. That is integrative bargaining. It's a negotiation strategy in which both parties, they collaborate to make sure that they both win something. The solution to their dispute is focused on developing mutual beneficial interest. The solution to their negotiation is not to lord one over you, it's not to get a better deal out of you, but to make sure that at the end of the day, we both walk away from this table feeling that our mutual benefit and interest has been satisfied. Everyone that goes out for negotiation, they have desires, they have needs, they have concerns, they have fears that are important to them, and that is why they've come to the negotiation table. So the underlying reason why people negotiate is really to meet these needs, to fulfill the desires, to allay the concern, and to get rid of whatever the fears are that they have about the other person. So integrative bargaining is only possible when it comes to integrative bargaining, which is the interest-based bargaining, the win-win bargaining. It is only possible, or it will only achieve its maximum result when there are multiple issues, because from those multiple issues, we're able to trade one off for another. Okay, if you will allow me to go and pick up my children from school at 3:30, I will forgo my 1 hour lunch break. I will walk through my lunch break and then use that 1 hour to go and pick up my children from school, for instance, after the close of school. So that is integrative bargaining or negotiation, where there are multiple issues that you can trade one off against the other. Please, let's go and share this program. If you have not done so, let's quickly share it. Click the share button. I appreciate you for doing so. The second type of negotiation is what I call the positional bargaining. The positional bargaining. This is based on fixed opposing viewpoints. The integrated one is where everybody wins. As far as positional bargaining is concerned, it's about, this is the deal, these are the terms, accept it or nothing. It is very, very much in your face, kind of. It is very confrontational. It's very, very much lording it over, as it were. And usually when people adopt the positional bargaining, the end result is that you either have to compromise your need, your desire, your concern, or there will be no agreement at all. And in situations where you're having positional bargaining is usually when there is a superior stroke or versus a subordinate relationship where it is my way or no way. It is my condition or you are out. It is what I say and not about you. And even in relationships, in a family relationships, one of the things that messes things up big time is this attitude of positional bargaining. Well, I'm the head of this house, whatever I say goes. Or I'm the one making all the money in this house, therefore I'm calling the shot. Or I'm the only child in this house, and if you don't give me what I want, then I'm going to manifest. All of that are positional bargaining. And the end result is you either have to compromise yourself, your integrity, your values, your belief, your faith, or whatever it is, in order to get anything out of such a arrangement. The implication of a positional bargaining is that when people compromise, when people have to give up what is important to them just to be able to partake of the agreement, they will leave dissatisfied. And the true interest of why they have come to the negotiation table is lost. Positional bargaining, all it does is splits the difference between the two positions, and one party takes the lion's share while the other person goes home almost empty-handed. The funny thing though is in every negotiation, it all starts mostly from a positional bargaining point. It starts from a positional bargaining point, but as you dialogue, as you exchange ideas, as you exchange viewpoints, then it can start to point towards the integrated bargaining. But usually, most negotiations start with positional bargaining. The danger with positional bargaining is that as the conversation, as the negotiation advances, both parties become more and more committed to their positions because nobody now wants to give ground. They continually restate the same point and find another way to defend that point, resulting in an impasse. A strong commitment to defending your position in any bargaining usually will lead to lack of attention, because when the other party is talking, you're not even paying attention. In your head, in your mind, you're thinking, okay, that's the angle he's going to take. Then I need to start working on what I'm going to do, how I'm going to counter that, rather than listening to what the other party is saying and seeing their viewpoint. All you do in a positional bargaining situation is that you dig your heels in and you defend your position, resulting in everybody losing out. The third type of negotiation is what I call distributive bargaining. This approach is adopted to divide something up and distribute it. Again, just like the positional bargaining, it is not the best one to go for, because it's either the two parties are working together to make what they are going to distribute and divide, to make it bigger so that everybody can have enough, or they try to get as much for themselves at the expense of the other person. Distributive bargaining is similar to what I call get all you can all you get, sit on the can until it is all rotten, because you don't want the other person to have access to it. So you get all you can, get as much as you can, irrespective of how you get it, just get as much as you can, put what you get in a can, sit on that can, and the content is rotten away because you don't want the other person to have access to it and you can use it yourself. The common tactics that people adopt when it comes to distributive bargaining is that they try to gain an advantage by insisting on negotiating on their own terms, in their own grounds, on their own home ground, as it were. For instance, when you hear two boxers are about to go into a contract to, excuse me, to have a fight, then you hear, oh, it's going to be in Las Vegas. No, it's going to be in Germany, where we have to take it to Cardiff. The simple reason for that is everybody wants it to be at their own favorite position. Also, when you adopt the distributive bargaining power, all you're trying to do is to have people tend to adopt it by bringing more negotiators to the table than the other person. So if you are bringing two, I'll bring 4 or 5 so that we can kind of crowd you out. Hi, Topsy Give, thank you for joining me. Thank you from Ukraine. Wow, thank you. And happy married life. The other tactics that they do is they use tricks and deception to get the other side to concede more than they are willing to give. They use tricks and deception. They give the impression that this is what it is when it's actually that's not what it is. Only for the other, just so that the other person can give up more than they are willing to give. But the worst tactics that people adopt when it comes to distributive bargaining is that they resort to threats and ultimatums. If you don't do this by tomorrow, the deal is off. If I don't hear from you by 6 p.m., don't even bother to call me. All of that is to intimidate the other party, to get the other party to make a decision when they are not ready to make the decision. So that is the third type of bargaining, of negotiation. So we talked about the positional, we've talked about the distributive bargaining, and then we talked about the integrative bargaining. So those are three types of the type of negotiation tactics that are out there. Now, let's look at some pointers that we need to know about negotiation. Hi, Ifeanyi. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Because we are all involved in bargaining for one thing or another, with somebody or another, with an organization, an institution, a government, or whatever. Bargaining, negotiation is going on every day of our lives. Because we are involved in it, there are certain things that we need to know so that we can maximize the outcome of our negotiations. The first thing that we must bear in mind when it comes to negotiation is this. The first thing is you must listen before you speak. Now, you will say, well, that's given. You'll be amazed how many people don't do that, especially during negotiation. People think if I speak more, then I'll get more, but it doesn't work that way. Listen before you speak. Listen before you speak. When you are entering a negotiation, don't come with an assumption about what's in the mind of the other person, because that's one of the reasons people will speak without hearing what you want to say. Oh yes, I know what you want to say. Oh yeah, no, you don't know what you're not, even if you're not a mind reader, so you can't know what's in my mind. So the best thing is for you to give me the audience to put my viewpoints on the table. Then you will have your opportunity and your chance to speak back to me and put your viewpoints on the table. So the first thing you must learn when it comes to negotiation is you must learn to listen before you speak. Enter every negotiation, irrespective of with whom and where it is. Go into every negotiation with an open mind, and if possible, plenty of questions to clear your own mind and answer your questions that you have. But don't go with a preconceived idea. Assumption, they say, is the lowest form of knowledge. When you take the position of assumption, you might as well not be at that negotiation table, because there will always be a time for you to say what you want to say. So in the meantime, just listen. Just listen. When you listen to the other party with rapt attention, it demonstrates that you value that person and you respect their opinion. And when you listen, you actually learn more than when you are talking. So the first thing you must bear in mind in every negotiation is that you have to listen before you talk. The second thing is, in whatever situation, wherever it is, with whoever it is, always be truthful. Always be truthful in negotiation. Generally in life, be truthful. But we're looking at negotiation now. Always be truthful. The reason for that is because negotiation is not an event, it's a process. If you are not truthful, a time will come when the process will expose that. And once that is exposed, guess what? Two things will happen. Number one, you will lose credibility. You will lose every iota of credibility. But worse than that, you have just given the other party the weapon, the arsenal, the power to take you to the cleaners. You don't want to win a negotiation at the expense of your credibility. So, when it comes to negotiation, the second thing you must bear in mind is be truthful. The third thing is, whether it's with your spouse, your employer, your trainer, your coach, anybody that you want to negotiate with, there is the natural element of fear. The fear of, I don't know. Oh, Kimpton, is it just me or we have lost connection? Well, I think we're still live. Please, if you can still see me or hear me, can you say something, type something? Because I think Kimpton is not hearing me. So he's asking whether we have lost connection. But I think we're still on from where I am. Please, let's confirm that if you can hear me. So there is the element of fear when it comes to when you are going to negotiate with somebody. But don't worry, it's natural. It is natural. Irrespective of how many times you've done negotiation or how many times you've closed the deal, every time you approach a negotiation table, there is that fear of the unknown. You don't know what the other party is bringing. You don't know from what angle they are coming. You don't know what physical evidence they're going to put on the table before you. You don't know the facts and figures they're going to present. So there is that element of the unknown which causes you to be afraid. But don't worry, it's natural. It is natural. The fact of the matter is there are no two deals that are exactly the same. Even if you've done this same deal over and over again, you'll agree that there are no two deals that are exactly the same. The other party you may even have sat down with the opposing party to do negotiation and all of that. But because the deals are different, it's going to come at it in a different angle. So for that reason, when you go for negotiation, be kind to your competitor. Be kind to your competitor. I know that is almost against the grain as it were. But when you remember the first type of negotiation style that we talked about, which is a win-win situation, then you will understand why it is important for you to be kind with the other party. The fourth thing that you must bear in mind when it comes to negotiation is this: shouting, slapping the table, growling, barking, harassing, intimidating. It doesn't get you anything. Because if you are negotiating with a seasoned, experienced negotiator, all they will do is to just sit back and wait for you to finish growling and shouting and screaming and all of that. Because they are not intimidated. They know that is all just gimmick to get them to cave in and to give you what you want. So guess what? They're just going to sit back and watch you. Then when you finish, it's like, so, can we start now? And that makes you then lose the edge. So when it comes to negotiation, it's not the time to bark and shout and scream and make all the noise. No. Be gentle, be civil, be polite, be kind, be open-minded to the other party. avoid threats and ultimatum or bullying tactics. So instead of seeing the other party as your competitor, as your adversary, as your enemy, as it were, no, focus instead on the merits of the case and find a way where you can achieve what you want and give the other party what they want as well. The idea to attack and shout, you don't know, it won't get you anything. Not at all. So avoid that when it comes to negotiation. Number 5, when it comes to negotiation, remember, even when you don't win the deal, or you can't close the deal, or you can't reach an agreement, whatever it is, even when the purpose of that negotiation is not achieved favorably as far as you are concerned, you haven't lost anything. You haven't lost everything, rather. You have gained something. You have to have learned something, gained something, pick up something from that table that you can walk away and use in your next during your next negotiation. So even though you may not have achieved what you want, but you have definitely learned something. One of the biggest group of people that we negotiate with is the suppliers, either the suppliers of goods or suppliers of services. Apart from your family, the next group of people that you are always negotiating with are the suppliers. Do you know why? Because they are part and parcel of our daily life. Most of your negotiation will be with somebody, an organization, an institution, a government, their agent, the buyer, the seller. Somewhere, somehow, you are always negotiating with a supplier. Paul Olga, thank you for joining us. Michael Dick, thank you for being on the program. So, when it comes to negotiating with suppliers, there are special ways to get the best out of the negotiation. And quickly, we're going to look at some of these things. The first thing you must know about negotiating with suppliers for you to get the best out of the negotiation is what I call know the lingo. Learn the lingo. Understand the terms, the industry language. Know the language. The best negotiators, the best consumers as far as suppliers are concerned are those people who understand the industry basics, who understand the language of that particular sector of the industry, who understand what to say, how to say it, when to say it, where to drop it in, and all of that. When you do that, when you learn that and you use that appropriately, now that's the key, using it appropriately at the right time, what it will do is it will make the supplier believe that you actually know what you are saying. You have a good knowledge about this particular sector or about this particular industry or about this particular product. And once they realize you know what you are talking about, your respect level for them will just go up immediately. And therefore, all the salesman tactics that they will use on somebody who is a novice, who doesn't know what the whole story is about, all of that goes out of the window and you get the best deal just because you learn and you know the industry language. So, if you want to get the best out of suppliers, the first thing you need to know is to learn the lingo, the language of that particular trade. Mark Hughes, thank you, sir, for joining me. Thank you, appreciate you. The second thing you must know when it comes to suppliers is that try and discover an area of mutual gain for both you and them, you and the supplier. Find a mutual gain point for both of you. What do I mean by that? Every supplier, they have one aim and one purpose. They want to sell more and make more money. They want to sell more and make more money. So when you are bargaining with a supplier, and the first thing, or you focus entirely on, oh, you have to reduce the price, oh, that is expensive, oh, that is, I can't pay all of that, why should I pay? Immediately his back is against the wall. He's thinking, this guy don't want me to sell, or this guy doesn't want me to get as more money out of this as I should do, or as I would like to. There is a way out of that. Take your eyes off the price tag. Look for another area, another angle, another point, and focus on that, on how you can get better deal out of the supplier. For instance, if you say to a supplier, okay, if that is your price, what if I put down 50% down payment? Now we're talking. Because to a supplier, cash in hand is key. Cash flow, it's the blood of the business. So immediately he's thinking, okay, if he's going to put 50% down, yeah, even if I have to knock it down by about 2%, that 50%, I can invest that immediately into this other business. And immediately you've changed the focus from the price tag. You're now saying, okay, I'll put down some down payment. Or you say, okay, I know this product comes with 12 months warranty. I want to extend that warranty for 36 months. Now you're talking, because he sees you as a long-term customer, not just a one-off. Or if you say, okay, instead of me buying one, I want to buy a dozen. Now you've changed completely the ball game. You've changed the game, the language. You've changed the playing field. Now you are singing the tune he wants to hear, because to him he's looking at volume sales. And because of that, you'll be amazed how quickly the price will go down. Or you say to him, look, in my office, I know of at least 6 people that will be interested in this product, and I'll be happy to introduce you as a good supplier to them. Hey, now you're talking. The supplier will quickly attend to you and agree with you, rather than trying to beat him over the head, asking him to reduce the price. So the second thing is, find an area of mutual gain for both yourself and the supplier, so that you can get the bargain that you want. The number 3 thing you can do when it comes to negotiating with a supplier is, let the supplier know that you're not the only one I'm talking to. Quote multiple suppliers. Say, look, I have already got 3 quotes that are on my table as we speak. And be truthful if you've got 3 quotes. If you've only got 1, say you've got 1. If you've got 2, say you've got 2. I've got other quotes on my table that I'm looking at. I just want you to know that you have an opportunity to be part of the ones I'm considering before I make a final decision. The next thing a good supplier will ask you is, what do I have to do to beat the other quote that you've got? What's the best price you've got on the other quote? I will match it or I will beat it. Hey, you've got yourself a good deal. Because you have, by letting him know that he's not the only one you're talking to, you've created an atmosphere of competitive pricing. Number 4, don't ever compromise on communication. Remember, negotiation is all about communication. It's about talking and hearing. It's about giving and receiving. So when it comes to your negotiation, don't compromise on communication. Start with and maintain solid communication with the supplier. Let the supplier know when you are going to call them. Let the supplier know if you are going to visit them in person. Let the supplier know when you are going to send the letter of intent, the purchase order. Make the communication solid and grounded. When you do that, you are not just bargaining for the product or the service that you're about to get. You are already building grounds for the next one that is coming. Because to the supplier, you have become a good customer. And usually, suppliers like good customers. So they try to please you. They'll give you what you want, how you want it, because you have maintained a good and solid communication link with them. The fifth one that you should bear in mind is that you can even go as far as pitching the supplier's sales talk. What do I mean by that? Step back and think like the supplier. What would this supplier want? What would this supplier want? All a supplier or a seller wants is to sell in quantity, in good price. What if you present yourself as a resource to that supplier to say, okay, do you know what? I have good contacts. If you do, I have good contacts in the market that will be interested in this your product. I'll be happy to be your agent to front for you and introduce this product to all these other people. What will I get as discount from you for doing this? You've just opened another income avenue for yourself. You've just become a partner. You've just signed a partnership agreement with that supplier. The trust and credibility that you will build from that partnership deal will go a long way when you are doing another business with him. Adekombi Adegbenro and Joshua Patterson, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you. Femi Akerele, thank you, sir. Another way to get a good deal out of a supplier is to have your deposit available. Have your deposit available. What do I mean by that? When you have when you have cash in your hand, it creates a leverage for you with a supplier. Take, for instance, you want to buy a car. Say, oh, the car is 18,500 pounds. And you say, okay. And the first thing they will ask you is, do you want to pay cash or do you want to finance it? You say, okay, I want to finance it. They say, well, you need to put down 20% and then we'll spread the rest over 4 or 5 years for argument's sake. So if you say, okay, can you work out how much that would be for me? And they do their calculator and they say, oh, with that deposit, you would then have to be paying £285, 70p every month. Say, okay, what if I put down 50% deposit? Now you have completely changed the ball game. When at the initial stage your interest rate is 7.9%, suddenly that interest rate is now come down to 4.5% because you've put down, you are promising that you are going to put your deposit on the deal, and that deposit is readily available right here, right now. The supplier wants the money in his pocket and he wants it now. Whatever it would take him to get that money out of yours into his pocket, he will go for it. Temi Lola, thank you for joining us. The next one is, looking at the time. Okay. Let's look at, when it comes to negotiation, when you are at the negotiation table or in any negotiation arena, one of the things that will cost you dearly, one of the things that will cost you, that will differentiate whether you get a good deal or a bad deal out of that negotiation, is knowing what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. Every person you are negotiating, they have a track record. They know what they're looking for. They know the phrase that once you say it, it signals something to them. So unless you know that, you could walk yourself into a big trap without even knowing, only to find out after you've signed it on the dotted line to say, oh my God, what have I just done? When it comes to negotiation, be careful. Be careful. Christina Agbowo Charles, thank you for joining me. Be careful. Most vendors are street smart, and they seem to naturally perform well when it comes to negotiation. Most vendors, most suppliers, most people you deal with, That's what they do every day of the week. You are doing it every now and again or once in a while. But these people, that's what they do. So they are very savvy, they are very knowledgeable, they are well prepared for it. They know what to say and how to lead you down a particular line. But when you know what to say, or more importantly, when you know what not to say in a negotiation, it puts you in a better state. The moment you get into trouble in any negotiation is the moment when you allow a careless statement, a careless word, a careless phrase to come out of your mind, and boom, you are entrapped. Hey, Rita Van from Netherlands, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you. So let's quickly look at some of the things you must not say when it comes to negotiation. The first one is the word between. The word between, please avoid it as much as possible when you are negotiating. What do I mean by that? It is easy during negotiation to range a figure, to range a period or a date or a calendar or a season, to say, okay, let's say, yeah, we can settle down, we can settle this between, say, 10,000 and 15,000. The moment you give that word between 10 and 15, you are locked in. Or you say, well, I'm sure we can deliver this between 2 to 4 weeks, 5 weeks maybe. The moment you say that, you are locked in. Why is that? When you use the word between, you are saying to the opponent, to the other party, to say, if I were you, I would go for the lesser price. But because I am who I am, I want you to agree to the higher price. But really, I can really still do it for the lower price. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So if I say, well, I can deliver this laptop to you, say, between 10 and 15,000 pounds. What I'm invariably saying is, I can sell it to you at 10,000, I'll still be fine. But really, I wouldn't mind if you pay over the order and pay me 15,000. Guess what the other person would think? Okay. I'd like to take the laptop, but I'm not ready to pay more than 9,000 pounds. Because you have given the person your range to say, between this and this, I'm happy. The next thing they will do is to tip it towards the lower price. The word between is tantamount to a concession. It's almost you saying, I consider this is what I'm going to accept. And a shrewd negotiator will swiftly, quickly, in a lightning speed, zero in on the cheaper price and say, okay, this is where we're going. In other words, by saying the word between, you've automatically considered the ground on your negotiation terms without getting anything in return. So avoid the word between. Number 2 word to avoid is, especially where price or amount of money is involved. Say you want to buy a house and you've been bargaining and pushing the price up and down, then you say, all right, give me a figure that you are happy with. Now, the difference between this and the first one is the first one, you are the one ranging it. This one, you are saying to the other party, give me a figure that you are happy with. Now, when you do that, there are actually 2 schools of thought about asking the other person to give you a figure. There is the school of thought that says when it comes to negotiation, whoever mentions the price first will be the one that will lose out. Because what you've invariably done is you've shown your hand to the other person. You say we're negotiating and you said, okay. And the other person said, give me a price. And you say, well, I don't think I can pay more than 2,500. You've already given, that is one school of thought says you've already told that person This is my comfort zone. This is my baseline, 2,500. And that school of thought believes that whoever mentions the price first will eventually walk away from that negotiation table having lost ground to the person that they showed their hand to. Auntie Kate, thank you for joining us. However, there's another school of thought that has indicated that the result of a negotiation is often closer to what the first mover proposed than the number that the other party then tried to enforce on you. You can now see the conflicting school of thought. The first one say, by you saying the price first, then you're giving your hands out. The other school of thought is saying, by you saying the price first, you've actually anchored the conversation to that price range, to that price figure, to something around that price. Therefore, you are locked in. Another aspect of this particular not to be said word is that the role of both parties matters in this scenario. What do I mean by that? When it comes to negotiation, the final outcome of a negotiation is affected by whether the buyer or the seller makes the first offer. It is affected by whether the buyer or the seller makes the first offer. What do I mean by that? When the seller makes the first offer, the final settlement price tends to be higher than when the buyer makes the first offer. When the seller makes the first figure price or names a price or puts a price tag on it, in most cases, the final settlement price is always higher than what the buyer would like to pay for it. So be careful when it comes to negotiation. Number one, understand your role. Are you the buyer or the seller? And number two, are you naming the price first, or are you going to let the other person name the price? The third thing you must not say in negotiation is when you say, I think we're very close to an agreement. Now, people say that generally when they're getting tired or when the whole process has drawn out for too long and it's like we're not making any headway here, let's just wrap this up and get away from it. There's nothing wrong with that if the fatigue is setting in. But once you say, you know what, I think we're very close to the final day. The moment you say that, the signal that it sends to the opposing party is that you are ready to settle on this deal. You are ready to settle without getting actually what you want. You are tired. You just want out. Let's wrap it up. Let's just get out of here. I've had enough. It's been a long day. And the other party is happy because you are saying, whatever you give me now, accept because I need to go. I'm tired of this. So be careful when you use the word or the phrase, I think we're almost there. Let's wrap it up. It gives the other person the upper hand. The other thing you must also bear in mind in negotiation is don't take it personal. Some negotiators, they will use the trick of calling you names, be insultive, be abusive. They will name a ridiculous price like you want to get up and just manifest something. No. It's a game. All they want to do is to rattle you a bit, to shake you up and see whether you will buy the bait. When they throw that bait in the river, as it were, don't be the first fish to latch onto it, because behind that bait is actually a hook that will just catch you. So when they try to be abusive, aggressive, and insultive and unreasonable, hold your peace. Hold your peace. When you are not rattled, when you are not easily harassed, what it will do is it will say to them, you actually know what you're doing. And mostly in that instance, they will calm down. And at that instance where they are when they are at their lowest, you take your hit and you hit a home run. Especially when you are negotiating with entrepreneurs, they take everything personal. Entrepreneurs are so emotional about their product, about their business, about their services, that they can easily get shaken and rattled. So when you are negotiating with an entrepreneur, sometimes they'll start to shout, "What do you mean?" Let him or her do the drama. And when they are set, you say, "Look, the truth of the matter is, this is my price. This is how much I'm willing to. This is what I'm happy to give. This is how far I'm willing to go." And 8 out of 10 times, they'll shake your hands on it. Because they try to rattle you, they try to shake you up, and you remain resolute. Finally, tonight, whenever you negotiate, use your quietness and tranquility to unnerve the person that you are negotiating with. Use your tranquility, your quietness, your body language, your willingness to remain calm. Use it to unnerve them. That way, you get the best out of the negotiation. This is just the first part of this topic. It is wide, it is vast. In fact, this is one of the topics that I've had to do it over and over again, trying to see how to structure it, in what order it should go, which one should go first, which one should go next, and all of that. Because it is wide, it is big, it is massive. All I'm trying to say is we haven't finished this topic on negotiation. We're just scratching the surface, as it were. So we're going to continue next week on negotiation, but we're going to be looking at it from another angle. We're going to be looking at other aspects of negotiation. Now, I don't know if this is helping anybody. I don't know if you've gained anything out of tonight's program. I would like to hear your thoughts. Please put something on the screen. Let me hear your comments. Let's read what you have to say. Whatever it is, or you have a question that you would like to pose. We've got 3 minutes to the end of the program. Let's use that 3 minutes just to interact and let me hear your views about what we've said today so far. Let's have something on the screen. Somebody ask a question. Somebody say something. If this has been a blessing, if it's added value to you, if you've learned anything tonight, just any comment is welcome. Let me hear what you have to say about tonight's program rather. Any taker who is going to say something first, and let's use the remaining 2.5 minutes that we have to quickly just go through some of the comments, some of the ideas, some of the whatever you want to say about what you've heard tonight. It'll be good to hear from you. And who is going to go first? Going one? Who's going first? Going two? I'm sure something that I've said tonight has ministered or added value to you. Okay. Oh, Rita Van from Netherlands is the first person. She says, "Oh, Michael, how do you recover if you have lost your cool in a deal?" Well, if you've lost your cool in a deal, to recover will be to use it as a lesson so that when next you're in a position to learn again next time, you won't lose your cool. Rita Van said, "Thank you so much for the wonderful message, sir." Thank you, Rita. Rita said, "Very educating. Thanks." Thank you too for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's such an honor to have an audience. It's such a privilege to have people like you that will put aside this time for us to spend together on this program. Please, if you have not shared this program, if you have not click your share button, please let's do that quickly in the last 1 minute that we have so that others can benefit from it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor to spend this hour with you. Until next week when we meet for another episode of Become a Better Man, specifically when we'll be digging deeper into negotiation. This is Tunde Disu reminding us again that we're not going to stop, relax, give up, or cave in until we arrive at the destination where all onlookers, friends and foes will say, for definite, these are better men and better women. Ifeanyi is very helpful for my business. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Ifeanyi. Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you so much. Thank you. So until next week, remain blessed. Bye-bye.